Today's question comes from a Taekwondo practitioner who has asked, do you think martial arts will inevitably experience a watering down from the combat orientation to sport orientation? And is it cylindrical, or will that be a one-way path? I'm gonna actually say 100% no. I think combat sports are redeeming the combat application. Martial arts were brought to the United States primarily through karate and taekwondo, and they were brought back by enlisted persons who had served in war, right? So at the end of World War II and into the Korean War, we start to see the surge of karate instructors coming to the States. These are all adult men who are teaching other adults. This carries on into Tang Soo Do and then Taekwondo in the 60s, which are hardened Vietnam vets who are bringing combative martial arts to the United States, right? Well, we had a very long period of time in the States where we had no active combat engagements. And as the saying goes, hard times create tough men create good times, and good times create soft men, who in turn create bad times, right? So we went through this evolution in the 2000s where people were getting their belts based on memorizing a form, breaking a board, and then maybe doing a little bit of point sparring and calling that free fighting. Late in the 90s and into the 2000s, we also began to see this new combat sport called mixed martial arts coming to the forefront, right? Now, what I see is a lot of schools that are still using the revenue rainbow belt system, promoted every 8 to 12 weeks, 10-year-old black belt. A lot of those schools are actually struggling now. And one of the reasons I believe is the case is because society has shifted. So when you speak cylindrical, here's where I say that. The children that are now coming into martial arts are the sons and daughters of the veterans who served in Iraq and in Afghanistan. These are men that know and understand violence, and the quality of the world we live in is not what it was 20 years ago as a whole. And I think people are realizing that what they're seeing in a lot of schools that are still using that 2000s business model of everybody gets a trophy, that's not real. So they're looking more to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, they're looking more to kickboxing and Muay Thai because they have an understanding of how physical self-defense and combat really is. And they realize that combat sports give a more realistic approach to training than the land of make-believe. But I think it is cylindrical in that martial arts started practical. They came to the States by hardened soldiers, people with combat experience. Your instructor, my instructor in Taekwondo, they were both black belts in Judo. They both knew how to box. They both came up in a blood and gut sparring environment. And then later it transitioned into a more soft society way of being, right? So my opinion is not that sport is watering down the combatives aspect of martial arts. It's that in the last 10 years, combat sports have actually started to save and redeem the validity of martial arts when trained with live resistance as combat applicable skills. I'm Coach Bateman with NXG Combat Sports. I look forward to hearing your arguments and comments down below. And as always, please like and subscribe. If you have other questions you'd like me to speak on and other topics, drop them in the comments.